Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here. We're on location in San Antonio, Texas. We're at a very special place.
Very special.
Called the Alamo, all right? We're here for gun gripe, guys. And I thought, what a really good place to reflect about this gripe than the Alamo. We're talking about the M855 proposed ban or proposed ruling from the ATF. A lot of you guys have been asking me to discuss this on film and to do a gun gripe on this, and I've been thinking long and hard about it. And it really is a bunch of bogus crap that the ATF is proposing. I mean, a lot of really unjustified grounds that they're proposing it, based on. But being here at the Alamo, you really can't help but feel a sense of patriotism, where this is a very important battle site. In 1836, a group of Texans who really had their mind set on standing their ground. They towed the line. They drew a line in the sand, and they decided that they weren't going to surrender to the Mexican army. They stood and they fought to the last man. And there's a spirit to that kind of you have to not only obey and respect and revere, but you also have to let it decide how you act as a person moving forward. And seeing something like this, it does kind of put things in perspective. Not only is the ban totally unconstitutional, but it's totally unjustified. They're talking about this M855 ban under the guise of protecting police officers against, penetrating rounds and all this sort of stuff. It's just totally bogus.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that this is old news. I mean, armor-piercing ammunition in handguns has been banned for several years, ever since basically 1986 and the Law Enforcement Officers Protection Act. I mean, basically, They wanted the wording to be as such as not to include rounds that were not developed for handguns, basically, i.e. rifle rounds. But it was changed in order to allow rounds that may be used in a pistol to be banned. But
right.
There was an exemption on M855 because it was a round that was designated as like a sporting round, because a lot of people used it. They really enjoyed it. And it had a sporting purpose, which, as we know well, guys, the Second Amendment is not about sporting purpose.
Right.
It has a very much deeper meaning than that.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, M855 is what it is. It is a sporting round for anybody and everybody who wants to enjoy it.
Yep.
And will it go through soft body armor? Sure. But any 5.56 will. It's just, it's a stupid ruling.
Hanging out the Alamo kind of makes you think, too. I'm pretty sure the defenders of the Alamo weren't worried about sporting purposes.
I don't think that they were.
Okay. And I don't think that any American that would stand up and fight for his neighbors in his country is going to be worried about sporting purposes either.
No.
So to me, the whole guise of it being about sporting purposes is completely erroneous and bogus, and quite frankly, it's just wrong. It doesn't make any sense at all for them to make it under that guise.
Well, you know good and well the reason why all this is up on the table now is because of all the attention that the SIG arm brace has gotten, all the people that have been buying pistols, just because they can kind of skirt around the laws just a little bit, to a certain extent. But it's all about intentions, and for a type of firearm to become immensely popular, and then, okay, well, we're going to start banning the ammunition that's cheap enough out there for you guys to feed it with.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only about the availability of the firearms and the legality of the firearms, but about the availability of the ammunition. I mean, if you say that 155 millimeter pack howitzers are legal to own, but then you can't buy the ammunition, well, then what's the point of having a pack howitzer if you don't have the ammunition for it? So, in the big scheme of things, it is a travesty that the ATF would even consider it. You remember last year they got the 7.6 ban in, and of course it's a really big crock of crap with the 7.6 ban. But the 7.6 ban was put out under this guise of, oh, well, now there's
sanctions
this guy
on
submitted
Russia.
a design for a AK-74 pistol. There's sanctions on Russia. There's sanctions on Russian-made ammunition, and they got it in under that guise. But see, one of the problems I have with this M855 ban, other than the fact that it's completely unconstitutional, and the ATF and many of their rulings is completely unconstitutional, is the fact that you are essentially taking away someone's ability to shoot affordably, and you're hurting American enterprise. Why would an American organization, an American government group, do something that would harm the the American industrial complex. I mean, you're
Well,
gonna get rid of jobs. Yeah, you're interfering with commerce. You're gonna make people lose their jobs. You're gonna make these companies lose money, and jobs are gonna be lost. And apparently, they're not concerned about that.
Well, that's kind of the idea. I mean, in a sense, this is kind of the way stuff like this starts. They start taking away little bits of ammunition here and there. I mean, okay, well, we're going to ban M855. Okay, well, now you can't have 55 grain because it's too high velocity. It'll defeat soft body armor too out of a pistol. Oh, well, the 60 grain stuff. Oh, Hornady VMAXs. Okay, well, how about the 77 grain or 75 grainers?
Yeah.
And then it's going to say, well, you can't shoot .223 at all.
Right.
And then what do you do?
Well, right now we're in Texas. We're in San Antonio. It's been a beautiful day. We've really had an eye-opening experience by visiting a place like the Alamo, checking it out and everything. But also, I mean, we are in close proximity to Mexico.
We are.
We're not far from Mexico. So speaking of that, that token, they can't have military calibers in Mexico.
And that, they can't have like 45, 9 mil. That's why they have 38 Super. 38 Super is an immensely popular cartridge.
Yeah, and ultimately, I would hate to think that that's what the government wants to try to do, that they want to keep military calibers completely out of the hands of civilians, which would be completely erroneous. Okay, so let's say that, all right, right now we're at the Alamo, where all of those brave Texans fought to the last man, just on principle. It was a principle that what they were doing was right, and that they weren't going to give in to the Mexican army. Well, Santa Anna and his cronies, they just weren't going to have it. They drew a line in the sand, and they decided we're going to fight to the last man. So, with that being said, what if the government back then would have told those guys, oh, well, you can't have this diameter musket ball because we use it? So, I mean, who is going to defend your Alamo if all of the populace doesn't have the same thing the military has? That is the spirit of the Second Amendment, is for men to be armed like the military so that we can help in a situation of conflict.
Not only just in the spirit of the Second Amendment, but just the spirit of being an American in general. I mean, if the people are able to procure the same type of arms that the military uses, then we can all fight together. When you separate the two, then that's where nations fall.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion.
I think they're drawing a line. That's the problem.
They are.
They're drawing a line in the sand, and part of that issue there is it's just wrong. I mean, why would they draw a line in between their own people? You draw a line so folks can stand behind it and support each other. You don't draw a line to separate everybody.
Nope.
And that's essentially what the ATF is trying to do with this ruling. So basically, you've heard our perspective. We don't agree with it. We think it's complete bogus crap that they're even thinking about doing it. There's a petition right now going through the petition department in the White House. Go over, check the link below, and sign the petition, guys, because it needs a lot of signatures to move forward.
Not only that, but the comment period, usually when the ATF issues some sort of ruling or proposal, they leave a comment period up for 30 days. Okay, they issued this ruling, I believe, on the 15th of February, so you have until the 15th of March to spam the hell out of the BATF.
Yeah,
and
guys,
we urge you to do it.
Don't go light, guys. Don't sit by and let this happen, because the 7N6 ban, same exact thing. It happened. People sat idly by, let it happen. You've got to help out your fellow Americans, because think, there's jobs at stake, there's civil liberties at stake. There's all these things are extremely important. It's a stab at your liberties. It's a stab at American commerce, and it just can't happen. It simply can't be allowed to happen.
Like we said before,
too many people regulate your rights out of existence with just a stroke of a pen, and you can't let that happen, because some guy in a suit at a desk with a pen is no master of me or anybody out here, and it can't happen. You can't let that. There's this disconnect between the power hungry and the people that have rights. It's when you have rights.
When you got to remember, the rights aren't given to you by the government. That's one thing that you need to remember. They're inalienable rights.
So, right, you're born with them. Yeah. So some guy in a black suit behind a desk who thinks he's got a good idea, he didn't give you those rights. You were born with them. So guys, I appreciate you watching this video. Please go through and sign the petition. Spam the heck out of the ATF. Spam the heck out of all your local representatives. Even if you have to put together one email and then send it out to a whole bunch of people, you need to do it. You guys might remember when we did our Open Carry Texas version video, where we were trying to really push for a complete constitutional carry here in Texas. I haven't really, followed up on that. I don't know what's happening with it, but hopefully that's going forward. So guys, we really appreciate your time. I know we haven't really done gun gripes much lately because we've been on the road a lot, been going a lot of places, but we were here in San Antonio, came by the Alamo, and it just struck me as being an important place to have this discussion, because this place is a beacon for freedom and for principles. And I'm a person of my principles. And for me, what the ATF is doing is not only unconstitutional, but it's against sound American principles. And that's why I wanted to have this talk here today.
Well, just remember, I mean, the guys that stood up here, if they wouldn't have stood up for their beliefs and their principles and such, we'd probably be standing in Mexico right now. And we probably wouldn't be enjoying it very much. But remember, guys, if you give the government an inch, they will take a mile. And that is the truth.
That's right. Guys, we appreciate you watching. We'll catch you next time. We got many more videos on the way. Make sure to check us out on Facebook. The link is down below. We've got a lot of exclusive things we put out, videos and photos, things like that. I try to interact with a lot of you guys on Facebook, so check us out. We'll catch you next time.
Take it easy.